Yo guys, welcome back to another video on the channel, and today I've got the best controller settings in Warzone and Black Ops 6 for you guys. But quickly before we do get into today's video, if you are new around here, be sure to subscribe to the channel notifications to turn on any more videos on the channel. Do enjoy it, smash thumbs up, and let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below. Let's jump straight into it right now. And when it comes to our settings, I'm going to be going over movement, aiming, everything that you guys need for your controller settings, just literally everything you guys are going to need. Obviously, some stuff's going to be a little bit different for everyone else in terms of like sensitivity and things like that. But the first thing, of course, we're going to do is come over to our controller settings, which is exactly what you want. Aiming input device is obviously going to be on controller. Button layout, this one is sort of up to your personal preference and whatever you do prefer. I like to play tactical simply just because I have paddles on the back of my controller. You know, tactical works well for me. And this is what a lot of the pro players use, and a lot of just the better players in Call of Duty do use. A lot of them do play tactical, but just find whatever one works for you. This may just be slightly different for everyone. And again, exactly the same for the stick layout preset. Mine is just on default. Some people might like to play something different. I know a few people that play Southpaw, so you know, you might want to just try a little bit different. I don't know if whatever it works for you just works for you in terms of these games. Horizontal stick sensitivity, I have mine set on about 1.8 on both of these. For me, it's around about anywhere between 1.7 to 1.9. Anywhere in that sort of range works really well. Some people like theirs turned all the way up. Some people like it turned a little bit lower. Again, this is one that you are going to have to mess about with and just find what feels comfortable for you when you are in game. To get this perfectly right without having to worry about dying to other people, just load into a private game if you've got Black Ops 6. If you haven't got Black Ops 6, it may be slightly more difficult, but jump in something like Plunder. Just run to the edge of the map and just run about for a little bit. Get used to turning around, moving backwards and forwards, just moving around and just seeing how it feels. If it feels smooth, if it feels too quick, if it feels too slow, just slightly adjust it until you find that nice little middle ground for where you are very, very happy with how it plays out. In terms of all of these simplified control presets, you're going to have all of these turned off. Bumper ping off, swap LB and RT. I have this turned off. Some people do actually like this on, and the reason some people like this on is, as you can see on my triggers right now, if I push it, it doesn't go down very far. However, some people don't have that. If you've not got adaptive triggers, it may be slightly better to have your LB and RB as your ADS and your shoot, and then for your grenades you use the triggers. And that is simply because there is less movement you have to make before actually firing, and the triggers start recognizing what's going on in game. So go and pick your controller up right now and press the bumper buttons and then press the trigger buttons, and then you'll realize how much smaller movement is involved in pressing the bumpers than the triggers, which is going to allow you to get that shot off just slightly early. And again, it's not crucial, but if you want that serious edge over your opponents, that could be the thing that makes a difference between winning gunfights and losing gunfights. Controller vibration, I have this turned off. This does actually make a very small difference to your aim. If you're trying to fire a full magazine and your controller's vibrating around, it is going to slightly make your analog stick bounce up and down, so turn this off. Now moving on to the dead zone inputs, and these are very, very important of how you guys are playing. Basically, what you want, your left stick and your right stick maximum, you want this on 100 or 99, whatever you want. 100 and 99, they're going to be the best ones. That gives you the most movement possible. And then you're going to want your left stick minimum and your right stick minimum to be as low as they possibly can. And what I mean by this, if I set my left stick to 0, then press the test stick dead zone, move my left stick around, as you can see, it doesn't return center properly, and it doesn't quite sit in that middle ground. Whereas if I now turn that off, come back to 4, turn it on, move it around, it always pings straight back to the middle, as you can see. And then again, I'll show you for the right hand side one. As you can see, mine is very high. I have my right stick on 27 because my stick drift on my controller is absolutely insane. If I turn this one all the way down to 0, I then go ahead and turn this on. As you can see, if I start messing about with my right stick, it just starts moving about by itself. I'm not touching anything, and it will just start bouncing around by itself, looking up at the ceiling and all sorts of different things, guys. So what I definitely recommend is you just mess about with this until your controllers or your analog sticks don't move at all in games. So set the minimums all the way down to 0, do the test, move the analog sticks around for a little bit and see if they start moving around on their own. If they do, slightly increase it, test it again. If they're still moving, slightly increase it, and just increase it until you find the exact point where they're not moving by themselves, and that is as close to it as you can get. And now moving on to the aiming settings, guys. For sensitivity multiplier, this is my setting, 0.85 on everything apart from tactical stance sensitivity. Again, this is going to slightly differ depending on what sort of player you are, how you like your sensitivity and things like that. This might be slightly too high for some of you. It might feel slightly too slow for some of you. So again, this is going to be one of those areas where you are going to need to just mess about with them in game and just see how you find them. You might want to go into a game and set them at 0.85 just to start off with as a starting point where mine are. Go into a game, if it feels too slow, make them a little bit faster. If it still feels too fast, make them a little bit slower. Now coming to look inversion on foot, I have that as standard. Aiming advanced settings, guys. Look inversion, we are going to have all on completely standard. We're going to have ADS sensitivity transition timing on instant. Third person ADS correction is on assist. aim response curve type is going to be on dynamic, and we are going to have that set all the way to 1. And then I have my custom sensitivity per zoom turned on, guys, and again, as you can see, they're all at about 0.8. Then for the higher zooms, they are slightly higher, just so I can move those sniper scopes a little bit faster. But as I've said with every other sensitivity one in the game, mess about with these yourselves, find what works for you, because just because that's what works for me doesn't mean that's necessarily what is going to work for you guys. But you can use my sensitivity as a starting point, and then you can see if it's too slow or too fast for your liking, and then change it from there. Now moving to movement, guys, on sprint assist, you are going to want tactical sprint assist turned on. This just means you haven't got to keep smashing your analog stick into sprint every single time. As soon as you start running forwards and you're not in a gunfight, this will just tactically sprint for you. And as you can see for these settings, I have the sprint assist delay on 0, I have sprint assist sideways on, and sprint assist backwards on as well. Mantle assist is going to be on low mantle assist, sideways, backwards, and tactical sprint only is off. And then mantle assist is on tight. Crouch assist is off, as you can see right there. The corner slice we are going to have turned on, which is essentially every time you're ADSing while running around a corner, you're going to slightly lean to the left or right, giving you a bit of a better view around that corner before you do fully commit to going round. Slide/dive behavior, guys, I have that on tap to slide. This makes it a lot faster to actually get those slides going off. If you're someone that slide cancels around the map a lot, you definitely want to have this one turned on. Automatic airborne mantle is on. Sprint restore is turned off. Slide maintains sprint is turned on. Parachute automatic behavior is on freefall. We're going to have mantle cancels reload turned on. We're going to have movement advanced settings. We're going to have our sprint/tactical behavior on toggle. Auto move forward off. Auto door peek off. We're going to have grounded mantle turned on. We're then going to have the tactical sprint activation on double tap. Plunging underwater is trigger, and then sprinting door bash is turned on. Now for our vehicle behaviors, if you guys wanted to see what I use for my vehicle behaviors, it is all of those right there, but this isn't going to matter too much in terms of the gameplay overall. And then finally for the combat, guys, all of mine are on screen. If you're worried about any settings in particular, I will just slowly go through them so that you can actually pause them, but majority of these are pretty standard. The one that I would definitely recommend changing is armor plate behavior is apply all. So when you do start applying plates, if you've got no plates at all, it will just put all 3 in without being interrupted, rather than you putting 1 in, having to redo the control, put it in again, redo the control, put the 3rd one in. So definitely have that on apply all. Any of these others that I can see that are really changed, combat advanced settings we'll get into, you guys can then just go ahead and have a little look at these as well. Interact/reload behavior for Warzone, I would recommend having it on prioritize interact. Just allows you to pick things up a lot faster without end up reloading your gun or anything like that. So yeah, that is what's going to be all of those ones. If we do come down to the overlay behaviors, which again really don't matter in terms of anything, those are there. I have that on toggle, and then overlay advanced settings, I have directional buttons, moderate, and default. But those, in my opinion right now, guys, are the best controller settings in Black Ops 6 and Warzone. Give you guys the best aim, the best way of controlling your weapons, and just overall being able to control the recoil and hit your shots a lot nicer, as well as getting around the map nice and quickly, and overall just being able to be the best player that you possibly can on controller in Warzone and Black Ops 6. If you guys have enjoyed today's video, please be sure to smash a thumbs up. It does help me out way more than you can ever imagine. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below. Are there any other settings that you guys personally would change that I'm not using or are slightly different to mine? Let me know in the comments. If you have enjoyed it, smash thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, notifications, and I'll catch you on the next one in a bit. Peace.